Have you been diagnosed with a cerebrovascular disease and told you that it is simply an inevitable part of aging? Perhaps you are recovering from a stroke, controlling carotid artery disease, or concerned with the risk of vascular dementia? For millions of adults over 60, cerebrovascular disease is not just a distant health concern, it is a daily reality that affects cognitive function, mobility and independence. Medicines, rehabilitation exercises, and constant fear of another cerebrovascular event can throw a shadow on what your golden years should be. But here is a truth that conventional medicine rarely emphasizes: many aspects of cerebrovascular disease are not only controllable, can even be reversible through specific nutritional strategies. And the most encouraging news? Significant improvement of cerebrovascular health is possible after 60 years when you start to incorporate certain foods that cure brain vessels into your daily diet. In this full guide, we will explore 5 specific foods with notable properties that can help reduce inflammation, improve cerebral blood flow, strengthen the walls of the vessels, clean the vascular plate, and potentially reverse many symptoms of cerebrovascular disease. This is not any food. They are nutritional powers especially selected by their ability to address the deep causes of cerebrovascular problems in the aged brain's circulatory system. When in the end, you will have a practical and evidence-based nutritional strategy to support your cerebrovascular health without just depending on medications. Stay with me until the end, because you can be surprised to find that the solution to better cerebral health is not just in the bottles of medicines, it is already waiting in your kitchen. Now, let's start this trip to revitalize your cerebrovascular health after 60 years. Number 1. Blueberries, nature's cerebrovascular medicine. The blueberries may be small, but these remarkable berries are true cerebrovascular healists for adults over 60. They contain specialized compounds that can reinforce blood vessel walls, improve cerebral blood flow, reduce inflammation, and potentially reverse damage to the brain vascular system that many conventional treatments cannot solve. If you have been diagnosed with a cerebrovascular disease, or if you are concerned about the circulatory health of your brain, incorporating blueberries into your daily diet can help restore the vascular function that many doctors consider permanently compromised. What makes blueberries so exceptionally effective for cerebrovascular health is their rich concentration of anthocyanins, the compounds that give them their deep blue color. These are not just pigments. They are powerful bioactive compounds that can directly influence the health of the blood vessels of your brain. Research has shown that anthocyanins help strengthen the walls of brain blood vessels, improving their integrity and reducing the risk of microbleeding, small brain tissue bleeding that contributes significantly to cognitive decline and are common in cerebrovascular disease. A remarkable study published in the Journal of Cerebral Blood Flow and Metabolism has shown that blueberries have improved cerebral blood flow in older adults with early signs of cerebrovascular dysfunction. Using advanced neuroimaging techniques, researchers observed an increase in blood flow in critical brain regions responsible for cognition after just 12 weeks of regular blueberry consumption. This improved circulation provides more oxygen and nutrients to brain cells, while more efficiently removing metabolic waste, essentially giving aged brain tissue what it needs to function optimal despite existing cerebrovascular challenges. But the vascular benefits of blueberries go far beyond the improvement of blood flow. Anthocyanins and other polyphenols they contain are powerful anti-inflammatory agents, helping to cool chronic inflammation that damages cerebrovascular coating and promotes atherosclerosis. In addition, these compounds help to prevent oxidative damage to endothelial cells, the delicate internal coating of the blood vessels that regulates vascular tone and permeability. By protecting and improving endothelial function, blueberries help restore proper regulation of cerebral blood flow, allowing the vessels to dilate and adequately contract in response to the variable needs of your brain. Perhaps the most impressive is the fact that long-term observational studies have shown that regular blueberries are associated with significant reductions in the risk of stroke, the final manifestation of cerebrovascular disease. Nurses' Health Study, which accompanied more than 93,000 women for 18 years, concluded that those consuming the largest amounts of blueberries and strawberries recorded a 33% reduction in the risk of stroke compared to women who consumed berries with little frequency. This protective effect was independent of other food factors, suggesting that these berries have a unique beneficial effect on cerebrovascular health. Considers Martha's experience. At 72, He had suffered a small stroke 2 years earlier and was diagnosed with a significant disease of small brain vessels in his brain magnetic resonance imaging, a condition that his neurologist described as expected at his age and usually progressive. Despite taking anticoagulants and medication for arterial tension, Martha continued to feel occasional dizziness, mental fog and a constant concern about the possibility of having another stroke. After reading about the brain benefits of the blueberries, he decided to make them a non-negotiable part of their daily routine. "I committed to eating a cup of blueberries every day," explains Martha. "I kept frozen organic blueberries in the freezer all year round, and added them to my morning oat popes, mixed them in beaten or simply defrost them for a snack." After about 2 months of consistent consumption, Martha began to notice improvements. His episodes of dizziness became less frequent, his thinking seemed clearer and had more energy for daily activities. When Martha returned to her annual neurological examination and magnetic resonance imaging 6 months later, both she and her doctor were surprised by the results. The progression of his illness from small vessels not only stopped, but there were also signs of improvement in various cerebrovascular health measures. Its lesions of the white substance, areas of damaged brain tissue due to insufficient blood supply, had not increased as expected and their cerebral blood flow had a measurable improvement. "My neurologist was quite surprised," recalls Martha. "He asked me what changes had made, and when I mentioned the blueberries, he nodded and said the recent investigation supported what we were seeing. I told me to continue to do what I was doing because my cerebrovascular health was going in the right direction, despite my age." Martha's experience aligns with emerging research on blueberries and cerebrovascular function. A particularly remarkable study, published in Applied Physiology, Nutrition, and Metabolism, concluded that participants with slight cognitive deficiency who consumed blueberry concentrate for 12 weeks had significant improvements in cerebral blood flow and activation in brain regions associated with cognitive function, compared to those who took placebo. Researchers observed these improvements specifically in brain areas that previously had a reduced perfusion, blood flow, due to cerebrovascular problems. Another impressive research project published in the Journals of Gerontology showed that older adults that consumed powdered blueberries had improvements in vascular endothelial function and arterial stiffness, two critical vascular health measures that directly affect cerebral blood flow. Researchers observed that these improvements were associated with increases in specific biomarkers of nitric oxide production, confirming that the blueberries were effectively aid the blood vessels to dilate themselves more effectively. To incorporate more cerebrovascular healing blueberries in your routine, it points to 1 cup of fresh or frozen portals daily, adds them to the porridge of oats, whole grains or yogurt, mixes them with other healthy ingredients for the brain, such as vegetables and seeds of freezing handles throughout the year. They maintain virtually all of their beneficial compounds. Create simple desserts, such as blue chocolate shackles. Consider wild blueberries when available, as they usually contain even higher concentrations of anthocyanins to get maximum cerebrovascular benefits. Consumes blueberries over time and not occasionally in large quantities. Protective effects seem to increase with regular consumption, creating cumulative improvements in vessel function and integrity over months and years. Although all berries offer some vascular benefits, blueberries consistently show the strongest effects on cerebrovascular health on research studies. Number 2, fat fish. Brain vessel protectors. Fat fish such as salmon, mackerel, sardines and trout are true nutritional treasures when it comes to healing and protecting the brain's vascular system in adults over 60. These remarkable sources of omega-3 fatty acids provide compounds that can reduce inflammation in brain blood vessels, improve its flexibility, increase blood-to-brain flow and potentially reverse aspects of cerebrovascular disease that many conventional treatments cannot solve. If cerebrovascular problems have been diagnosed, increasing your consumption of fatty fish can provide powerful support for your brain's circulatory system and help restore the function that many doctors consider permanently compromised. What makes fat fish so exceptionally effective for cerebrovascular health is their high concentration of 2 specific fatty acids: 3-EPA, eicosapentaenoic acid, and DHA, docosahexaenoic acid. These specialized fats are incorporated directly into cell membranes throughout the cerebrovascular system, where they help maintain flexibility and integrity of blood vessel walls. As we get older, our blood vessels become naturally more rigid and less sensitive to blood pressure and brain activity, contributing significantly to cerebrovascular diseases. Omega-3 of fat fish help restore proper fluidity of the membranes, allowing the vessels to dilate and adequately contract in response to variable conditions. Research has consistently demonstrated the impact of omega-3 on cerebrovascular function. A reference study published in the Journal of the American Heart Association concluded that participants with cerebrovascular risk factors that consumed omega-rich fish twice a week had significant improvements in endothelial function and arterial elasticity after just 12 weeks. These improvements were directly translated into a better cerebral blood flow and the reduction of the risk of vascular events such as stroke. But the cerebrovascular benefits of fat fish go far beyond vessel flexibility. Omega-3 they contain are powerful anti-inflammatory agents, helping to cool chronic inflammation that damages brain vessels and promotes atherosclerosis. This anti-inflammatory effect is particularly important in small vessels that feed deep brain structures often affected by cerebrovascular disease. In addition, omega-3 helps reduce platelet aggregation, essentially making blood less sticky and reducing the risk of clots that can cause ischemic strokes. Perhaps the most impressive is the fact that long-term studies have shown that regular fat consumption is associated with remarkable reductions in the risk of stroke, the final manifestation of cerebrovascular disease. A meta-analysis published in the Journal of the American Medical Association evaluated 15 prospective studies. Those involved more than 371,000 participants and concluded that those who consumed more fish had a 14% lower risk of cerebrovascular events compared to those who rarely ate fish, considers Richard's experience. At age 68, a significant stenosis, narrowing, of the carotid artery was diagnosed and his vascular surgeon told him that he would probably need an intervention to clear the blockages if they progressed. Despite taking statins and medicines for blood pressure, their follow-up ultrasounds revealed a continuous aggravation of narrowing. After learning about the vascular benefits of omega-3, Richard decided to make the fat fish a regular part of his diet. I committed to eating salmon, mackerel or sardines 3 times a week, explains Richard. I also took a high-quality fish oil supplement on days when I didn't eat fish, after discussing the dosage with my doctor. After about 3 months of this change in the diet, Richard noticed subjective improvements, had more energy, better mental clarity and less headaches that previously attributed to his vascular problems. When Richard returned to his 6-month-old vascular checkup, both he and his surgeon were surprised by the results. The progression of his carotid stenosis was not only stopped, but there were measurable improvements in blood flow and a slight regression of the plate in an area. My surgeon was quite surprised, recalls Richard. He said it was unusual to see this kind of inversion without intervention and asked me what changes had made. When I told him about fat fish and omega-3 supplements, he nodded and said the investigation supported what we were seeing in my results. After a consistent year of fatty fish consumption, along with prescribed medications, Richard's cerebrovascular health has improved to the point that his surgeon no longer considering him an intervention candidate. What amazed me most, says Richard, was the fact that changes in my diet could affect something as apparently fixed as the narrowing of the arteries. My doctor explained that the omega-3 was probably reducing inflammation on my vessel walls and improving endothelial function, essentially helping my blood vessels heal themselves. Richard's experience aligns with what researchers observed in clinical studies. A particularly remarkable study published in Atherosclerosis found that established atherosclerosis participants that increased their omega intake 3 showed significant improvements in carotid intimate media thickness, a measure of arterial health, and reductions in inflammatory markers after 6 months. Another impressive investigation project showed that the consumption of long-term omega-3 fatty acids was associated with improvements in cerebral blood flow, particularly in brain regions more vulnerable to vascular damage. To incorporate more fatty fish that heal cerebrovascular injuries in your routine, seeks to eat at least 2 to 3 portions, 4 to 6 ounces each, fat fish per week. Choose wild fish whenever possible for a larger omega content. 3 experiences simple preparations like salmon with lemon and herbs, grill mackerel or add sardines to salads. Keeps handwords or possibility to take a high quality and pharmaceutical omega-3 supplement. If it is difficult to consume enough fish, consult your health professional. If you use supplements, seek those that specify your content in EPA and DHA and have been tested for contaminants to get the maximum cerebrovascular benefits. Concentrate on fat fish varieties with the highest omega-3, wildlife, macaw, herring and flying tuna. In view of the content of mercury in larger fish, focusing mainly on smaller species, such as sardines and herring, which usually contain fewer environmental contaminants and provide excellent levels of omega-3. If you are still seeing this video and find these valuable ideas, please comment number 2 below to say that you are here. And if not yet, you have subscribed to you, I recommend that you subscribe to notifications to lose no video on how to improve your health naturally as you get older. Number 3, Soften of Terra. The golden currant for brain vessels to turmeric, with its vibrant golden color, is emerging as one of the most promising natural remedies for cerebrovascular disease in adults over 60. This millennial spice contains compounds that can reduce inflammation in brain blood vessels, improve cerebral blood flow, protect the walls from vessels against damage, and potentially reverse aspects of cerebrovascular disease that many conventional treatments cannot address. If problems have been diagnosed with affecting the brain's circulatory system, incorporating curcuma into your regular diet can help restore vascular function and protect against more damage to this critical network. What makes the curcuma so exceptionally effective for cerebrovascular health is its active compound, curcumin, which has remarkable effects on the function and integrity of blood vessels. The investigation has shown that curcumin helps to modulate multiple roads involved in maintaining healthy brain vessels. One of its most important actions is the reduction of inflammation in the walls of the blood vessels, a key factor of cerebrovascular disease. Chronic inflammation damages the delicate endothelial coating of the brain vessels, promoting atherosclerosis and impairing the proper blood flow. Curcumin helps cool this inflammation at the molecular level, creating an environment where damaged vessels can really start healing. An innovative study published in the Journal of Cerebral Blood Flow and Metabolism has shown that taking a curcumin supplement has improved the function of brain vessels and blood flow in older adults with early signs of cerebrovascular dysfunction. Using advanced neuroimaging techniques, researchers observed an increase in blood flow in brain regions that previously had a reduced perfusion due to microvascular damage. This improvement in circulation provides more oxygen and nutrients to brain tissue, while removing metabolic waste more efficiently, essentially giving aged neurons which they need to function optimal despite existing cerebrovascular challenges. But curcuma's benefits go beyond the fight against inflammation and the improvement of blood flow. Curcumin also increases nitric oxide production, a molecule that helps blood vessels to dilate, while reducing the formation of harmful free radicals that contribute to endothelial dysfunction. In addition, it helps to prevent abnormal platelet agglomeration that can lead to hazardous blood clots in brain vessels, effectively providing similar but smoother natural antiplatelet effects than some medications. Perhaps the most impressive is the fact that the investigation suggests that curcumin can actually help dissolve the amyloid plate in the blood vessel walls. Cerebral amyloid angiopathy, accumulation of amyloid proteins in brain vessels, is a common finding in older adults with cerebrovascular disease and significantly increases the risk of stroke. Laboratory and animal studies have demonstrated the ability of curcumin to connect with these amyloid deposits and help remove them from vessel walls, potentially restoring the appropriate blood flow to affected brain regions. Consider Helen's experience. At age 75, he suffered a series of transient ischemic attacks, AIs or mini AVCs, and was diagnosed with a significant disease of the small vessels in his brain. Magnetic resonance imaging. Despite taking anticoagulants and medicines for blood pressure, it continued to feel occasional episodes of dizziness, hesitation in speech and weakness on the right side, symptoms that the neurologist attributed to his cerebrovascular disease. After researching natural vessel health approaches, Helen decided to incorporate curcuma into her daily routine. I started to take a high-quality curcumin supplement with black pepper extract for better absorption, after checking with my doctor who would not interfere with my medicines, explains Helen. I also started adding curcuma to my cooking almost every day, in scrambled eggs, soups, rice dishes and beaten. After about 6 weeks of curcuma's consistent consumption, Helen noted that she was having fewer episodes of dizziness and weakness. After 3 months, the improvements were unmistakable. The symptoms of AIT that had from time to time stopped almost completely, he recalls. My thinking seemed clearer, my energy had improved and no longer lived with a constant fear of having another episode. When Helen returned to her 6-month neurological follow-up and repeated magnetic resonance imaging, her doctor was surprised by the results. The hyperintensities of the white substance, areas of damaged brain tissue due to insufficient blood supply, had not progressed as expected, and cerebral blood flow measurements showed improvements. My neurologist was quite interested in knowing what I was doing differently, says Helen. When I mentioned curcuma, he did not depreciate at all. He said emerging investigations supported its benefits for cerebrovascular health and encouraged me to continue, as long as it did not cause any side effects with my medications. Helen's experience is in accordance with what researchers are finding out about the curcuma and the cerebrovascular function. A particularly notable study published in the Journal of Medicinal Food found that participants with vascular cognitive deficiency, often caused by cerebrovascular disease, who took curcumin daily for 6 months had significant improvements in cognitive function compared to those who took placebo. Researchers observed that these cognitive improvements corresponded to an increase in cerebral blood flow in follow-up tests. Another impressive research project published in Biochemical Pharmacology has shown that curcumin has helped protect brain endothelial cells, the critical internal coating of cerebral blood vessels, from oxidative damage, simultaneously promoting its reparation and regeneration. Researchers have concluded that the multiple mechanisms of action of curcumin make particularly valuable to deal with the complex nature of cerebrovascular disease. To incorporate in your routine more curcuma that heals brain vessels, adds 1/4–1/2 teaspoon of ground curcuma to scrambled eggs, rice dishes, soup. Sorbents combines the curcuma with black pepper and healthy fats, such as olive oil, to improve the absorption experiences. Golden milk, a traditional beverage made with curcumin, yerba and milk. High-quality curcumin with improved bioavailability. Consult your health professional. Make curcuma tea. Boiling fresh root or ginger and honey powder creates a curcuma salad sauce with olive oil, lemon juice and black pepper to get maximum cerebrovascular benefits. Consistency is fundamental. Regular and moderate intake seems to be more beneficial than large occasional quantities. If you use supplements, you are looking for products that solve the naturally weak bioavailability of curcumin through technologies such as liposomal administration, nanoparticles or inclusion of black pepper extract, piperina. Always consult your health professional before you start taking supplements, especially if you are taking medications for cerebrovascular diseases, as curcumin can interact with anticoagulants and some other medications. Number 4. Beetroot. A natural blood flow stimulant. Beetroots can tarnish your fingers when prepared, but these vibrant root vegetables have an extraordinary ability to improve cerebral blood flow and potentially reverse aspects of cerebrovascular disease in adults over 60. Its unique nutritional profile directly addresses various key factors that contribute to compromised brain circulation, making them one of the most effective foods to support cerebrovascular health. If problems have been diagnosed that affect the blood vessels of the brain, add beetroot to your diet can help restore suitable blood flow to areas with compromised circulation and protect against additional damage to this vital network. What makes beetroot so exceptionally effective for cerebrovascular health is its high concentration of dietary nitrates, compounds that become nitric oxide in the body. Nitric oxide is a powerful vasodilator that relaxes the walls of the blood vessels, significantly improving blood flow throughout the body, including the brain. This improved brain circulation is extremely important for adults with cerebrovascular disease, as many of the symptoms and complications result from insufficient blood flow to certain brain regions. The investigation has shown that nitrates in beets may increase blood flow to specific brain regions up to 14%. A reference study published in the magazine Nitric Oxide, Biology and Chemistry showed that older adults who consumed beet juice daily for just 2 weeks showed a significant increase in blood flow in the white lobe areas particularly vulnerable to vascular damage to cerebrovascular disease. Using advanced magnetic resonance imaging techniques, researchers observed an improvement in perfusion precisely in regions that typically have a reduction in blood flow with age and vascular diseases. But the beetroot's cerebrovascular benefits go beyond its nitrate content. It is also rich in betalain, the pigments responsible for its deep red color, which have powerful anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties. These compounds help protect the delicate endothelial cells that line the brain blood vessels from oxidative damage and inflammation, two of the main factors of cerebrovascular disease. By reducing these damage and supporting endothelial health, beetalins help restore proper vascular function and response capacity. In addition, beets contain significant amounts of potassium and folate, nutrients essential for vascular health, of which many elderly people are disabled. Potassium helps regulate blood pressure and vascular tone, while folate helps reduce blood homocysteine levels. High homocysteine is directly linked to increased risk of stroke and cerebrovascular injuries, which makes foods rich in folate particularly important for the health of the strokes. Considers the experience of Thomas. At 77, chronic brain hypoperfusion was diagnosed with inadequate blood flow to certain brain regions, following a carotid artery ultrasound and cerebral magnetic resonance imaging. He felt frequent dizziness when he got up, occasional difficulties in finding words and what the doctor called cognitive vascular deficiency. Despite taking medications to improve circulation and brain function, their symptoms persisted. After reading about beetroba's cerebrovascular benefits, Thomas decided to incorporate her into her weekly diet. I started simply, with beet juice bought in store, from which I drank about 8 ounces 3 times a week, explains Thomas. Then I started adding cooked beet to salads and occasionally mixing raw beet to my morning beaten. After about a month of consistent beet consumption, Thomas noticed something remarkable. His episodes of dizziness when he was standing significantly diminished and was mentally sharpened, especially in the hours after consuming beet or beets. When Thomas returned to his 6-month neurological follow-up, his doctor performed cognitive tests and repeated an ultrasound to evaluate blood flow. Both revealed measurable improvements. My doctor was very interested in knowing what I was doing differently, recalls Thomas. When I mentioned the beets, he nodded and said the recent investigation supported its benefits to cerebral blood flow. In fact, he recommended that I continue and even increase my consumption. After 9 months of regular beet consumption, along with prescribed drugs, the cerebrovascular function Thomas's air has improved to the point that their dizziness episodes were rare and their cognitive tests reveal results similar to those of someone 5 years younger. What surprised me most, says Thomas, was the fact that something as simple as a vegetable could make such a significant difference in my brain circulation when added to my medical treatment. My quality of life has improved substantially. Thomas's experience is in line with what researchers observed in clinical studies. A particularly remarkable study published in the Journals of Gerontology found that older adults who consumed beet juice daily for 6 weeks had significant improvements in reaction time and cognitive function compared to those who drank a placebo drink. Using neuroimages, researchers confirmed that these cognitive improvements corresponded to an increase in blood flow in specific brain regions that previously had a reduced perfusion. Another impressive Wake Forest University research project has shown that only a week of daily beet juice has led to an increase in connectivity between brain regions involved in motor control and cognitive function in older adults. Researchers observed that the pattern of connectivity resembled younger adults more, suggesting that dietary nitrates can help restore younger standards of brain activity, improving cerebrovascular function. To incorporate more cerebrovascular curative beets into your routine, BB 240 ml beet juice 2 to 3 times a week, looking for 100% beetless sugars. Add baked beet, steam cooked or grated to salads. Mix a small amount of raw beet, starts with 1 to 2 tablespoons, base of beet that maximizes the availability of nutrients. Bakes beets with olive oil and herbs for delicious follow-up experiences. Fermented beets, which offer the additional benefit of probiotics that support general vascular health to get maximum cerebrovascular benefits. Consumes beetroot or beet juice about 1 to 3 hours before the heights in which it needs a cognitive great cognitive 1. Since studies show a peak of nitric oxide production and an increase in cerebral blood flow in this period of time. If the beet's taste is too strong for you initially, experiences golden beet, which has a softer flavor but continues to provide nitrates that improve circulation, or mix the beet juice with apple juice or carrot to make it more tasty. If you are still watching this video and find these valuable ideas, please comment it on number 4 below to tell me you are here. Your involvement helps us continue to create content that responds to your health concerns. Number 5, black chocolate, a sweet remedy for brain vessels. Black chocolate may seem too delicious to be medicinal, but this rich and complex food has emerged as one of the most promising natural remedies for cerebrovascular disease in adults over 60. The key is to choose the right type, The high cocoa chocolate, 70% or more, provides a remarkable set of compounds that directly support brain vessels and can help reverse damage to the cerebrovascular system. If problems have been diagnosed with affecting blood vessels in the brain, incorporating a small amount of high-quality black chocolate into your daily routine can help restore circulatory function and protect against more damage to this critical network. What makes black chocolate so exceptionally effective for cerebrovascular health is its high concentration of flavonols, plant compounds with powerful effects on the function of blood vessels. These flavonols act through multiple roads to improve brain circulation and vessel health. First, and perhaps more important, increases nitric oxide production, which relaxes blood vessel walls and improves blood flow in the brain. This improved circulation is particularly valuable for older adults with cerebrovascular disease, as it helps to provide more oxygen and nutrients to the brain regions that may be receiving an inappropriate blood supply. A reference study published in the journal Neuropsychiatric Disease and Treatment demonstrated this effect, showing that regular consumption of cacao with high flavonol content increased cerebral blood flow in impressive 10 to 15% in older adults with vascular risk factors. Using advanced imaging techniques, researchers observed an improved perfusion specifically in areas of the brain that previously had a reduced blood flow due to cerebrovascular problems, suggesting that cocoa flavonols can help restore circulation in compromised regions. But the cerebrovascular benefits of black chocolate go beyond the improvement of blood flow. Flavonols and other polyphenols containing are powerful antioxidants that help protect the endothelium, the delicate internal coating of the blood vessels that regulates vascular function. Endothelial dysfunction is a characteristic of cerebrovascular disease and contributes significantly to the reduction of brain perfusion. By protecting and improving endothelial function, black chocolate helps restore proper regulation of cerebral blood flow, allowing the vessels to dilate and contract properly in response to variable metabolic demands. In addition, black chocolate contains significant anti-inflammatory compounds that help reduce vascular inflammation, a key factor in cerebrovascular disease. By soothing inflammation on the walls of the vessels, these compounds help create an environment where damaged blood vessels can begin to heal. The investigation has shown that regular consumption of chocolate with high flavonol content can reduce vascular inflammation markers by 10 to 20% by just 4 weeks. Perhaps the most impressive is the fact that long-term observational studies have shown that moderate black chocolate consumption is associated with significant reductions in the risk of stroke, the final manifestation of cerebrovascular disease. A meta-analysis published in Stroke magazine evaluated 5 studies with over 252,000 participants and concluded that those who consumed more chocolate had a 29% lower stroke risk compared to those who rarely consumed chocolate. Considers Eleanor's experience. At age 73, a disease of small brain vessels was diagnosed following a magnetic resonance imaging to investigate their complaints of occasional dizziness, slight cognitive concerns and a temporary numbness episode in the left. His neurologist explained that this disease, characterized by damage to small blood vessels in the brain, was common with aging and had limited treatment options, besides control of blood pressure and anticoagulants. After reading about the vascular benefits of cocoa flavonols, Eleanor decided to incorporate high-quality black chocolate into his daily routine. I started eating a small square of black chocolate 85% every day, usually in the afternoon with my tea, explains Eleanor. I made sure that I chose brands that specified the cocoa content and were not processed with alkalis, which I learned that many of the beneficial compounds are destroyed. After about 2 months with this simple addition to her diet, Eleanor noticed subtle improvements. Her episodes of dizziness became less frequent and was mentally sharpened, particularly in the hours that followed the daily chocolate consumption. When Eleanor returned to her annual neurological accompaniment and repeated the magnetic resonance imaging 8 months later, both she and her doctor were surprised by the results. The progression of his illness from small vessels had slowly slowed compared to what was normally expected, and cerebral blood flow measurements revealed improvements in several previously compromised areas. My neurologist was quite interested in knowing what I was doing differently, recalls Eleanor. When I mentioned the black chocolate, it didn't depreciate it at all. Said recent investigations supported its benefits for cerebrovascular health and he even recommended that I continued, noting that it was one of the few nutritional approaches with solid evidence to improve cerebral blood flow. Eleanor's experience is in line with what the researchers observed in clinical studies. A particularly remarkable study published in Hypertension magazine found that daily cocoa consumption with high flavanol content has improved various cerebrovascular health markers in older adults with vascular risk factors. After 8 weeks, participants had significant improvements in cerebral blood flow speed, arterial stiffness and cognitive performance measures compared to those who consumed low flavanol chocolate. Another impressive research project at Columbia University demonstrated that cocoa flavanols have improved the function of the brain toothpaste, an area particularly vulnerable to vascular damage to age. Researchers observed that participants who consumed cocoa with high flavanol content daily for 3 months showed an increase in cerebral blood volume in this region and a better performance in cognitive tasks that specifically depend on the function of jagged turnaround. Para incorpores naturalrotina maize chocolate preto que curos vossos cerebrais. Escol chocolate com, pelo menos, 70% tortilla de cacao. Percentagens maize, elevadas contam maize flavonoi beneficos, para produtos que não especificam processado com alcali ou processado na Holanda, uma vez que este tratamento reduz significativamente o teor de flavanol, desfruta de 1 to 2 quadrados pequenos, cerca de 10 to 15 grams, diariamente, de preferência à tarde. Deixa-o diretamente na tua boca para experimentares plenamente os seus sabores e maximizes a absorção dos compostos benéficos. Combina-o com frutas silvestres para aumentar os benefícios cerebrovasculares. Considera o cacau em pó sem açúcar, não processado holandês, adicionado a batidos, café e receitas como outra forma de obter flavonoi. Para obter o máximo de benefícios cerebrovasculares, a consistência é fundamental. O consumo regular e moderado para ser mais benéfico do que quantidades maiores ocasionais. Although black chocolate contains some caffeine, the quantity at 1 to 2 squares is usually low enough to avoid disturbing sleep if consumed at the beginning of the day. The small amount of sugar in high-percentage black chocolate is usually compensated for its significant health benefits, but if you are diabetic, you talk to your health professional about the right portions. Final considerations: to heal your brain's vascular system through nutrition. By completing this exploration of foods that can help reverse cerebrovascular disease after 60 years, it dedicates a moment to reflect on the profound connection between what food and the health of your brain's vital circulatory system. Narrowing of vessels, reduced blood flow and impairment of vascular integrity that characterize cerebrovascular disease are not only inevitable consequences of aging, they are often signs that brain blood vessels require specific nutritional support. By incorporating these 5 powerful foods into your regular diet, you are providing your cerebrovascular system the compounds you need to potentially cure and restore function. We will review the 5 remarkable foods we approached and can help reverse cerebrovascular disease after 60 years. Rich anthocyanins that strengthen the walls of the vessels and improve cerebral blood flow. Fats that provide omega-3 that reduce inflammation and increase the flexibility of curcumin. Contains curcumin that combats vascular inflammation and can help dissolve the amyloids in the walls. Beet vessels that provide food nitrates that significantly increase nitric oxide production. And black chocolate brain perfusion with flavanols that improve endothelial function and increase cerebral blood flow. What stood out for you the most? Which of these foods that heal brain vessels will incorporate more consistently into your diet? Perhaps you have ignored the blueberries, without realizing that they contain compounds that actively reinforce the walls, brains. Perhaps you have avoided fat fish, unknowingly, as your omega-3 can improve the flexibility and function of strokes. Or maybe you have been eating milk chocolate, losing the remarkable benefits to the strokes of your darker equivalent. The beauty of this approach to cerebrovascular health is its simplicity and accessibility. You don't need exotic ingredients or complicated regimes, just a purchasing list focused on these 5 powerful foods. And unlike many medications that only address isolated aspects of cerebrovascular disease or that only prevent additional damage, these foods aim at various mechanisms simultaneously, potentially allowing cure at a fundamental level. I want to stress that these foods work best as part of a comprehensive cerebrovascular health approach, which includes appropriate medical care. People whose stories I shared continue to take prescribed medications while adding these foods to their routines. The improvements they felt resulted from the complement of conventional treatment with nutritional support, not the replacement of the necessary medication. It always works with your health professionals and inform them of the food changes you are making. We would love to hear your experience. Please leave a comment below by sharing an idea of this video that has surprised you, or a food that plans to incorporate more consistently into your diet. Your experiences and questions not only help us create better content, but can also inspire other people who face similar challenges regarding cerebrovascular health. If you think this information is valuable, please like, subscribe and share this video with someone you like and may be concerned about cerebral vascular health. Your support helps us continue to create test-based content that can really make a difference in people's lives. Thank you for investing time to learn how to support your cerebrovascular health through nutrition. Remember, cerebral blood flow at any age is influenced by the foods that ingest consistently. The best time to start nurturing your cerebrovascular system better is today. Your future will thank you for the gift of better brain circulation, improved cognitive function and additional quality life years.